Comeback player of the year. To me, it's a shoe in between just two players. Obviously, ironically enough, two former teammates, Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets and Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Kevin coming off of a horrific Achilles tear in the NBA Finals a few years back, missing all of last season, and coming back this season pretty much with a vengeance. The Slim Reaper kind of has come back to full effect, averaging just under 30. And like I had stated earlier, he has missed some games due to COVID contact two times this season. He has missed a couple of games due to rest and some minor injuries. But when he is on the court, I mean, he is absolutely playing out of this world. And to know that he did tear an Achilles, he is 7 feet and he is still doing all the things that Kevin Durant did prior to it. It is absolutely a scaring thought to really think that this man's only going to get better as the season progresses. And then Stephen Curry, obviously breaking his hand last season, missing pretty much the entire year. Um, Golden State kind of falling down and collapsing to being one of the worst teams, if not the actual worst team in the league, and getting the number 2 overall pick in the draft to get Wiseman, Steph, obviously, to go out there and lose Clay right before the season starts to an Achilles tear. And then, like we talked about earlier, the lack there of play and consistency around his teammates with Kelly Oubre at times and Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green, for them to be fighting for a Western Conference playoff spot and for him to be averaging basically 30 points a game in his first year back. It's just crazy. And it just continues to add to both their legacies to show that these are two of the best players this league's ever seen. And this little minuscule award is something that neither of them care about. They both want
Yeah.
more hardware, but I would say it's a pretty close race with the two of them.
If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I'm only picking Steph because KD does have Kyrie and James by his side.
It's fair enough. I'm going to go with KD here simply because I think coming back from an Achilles injury, the tear that he suffered in the finals against the Raptors last year, is a more difficult injury to come back from than a broken hand with Steph.
Fair enough.
Not to discredit Steph. Steph has been
No.
absolutely dominant this year. And he's been carrying the team as best as he can, with Kelly Oubre being inconsistent, Andrew Wiggins being pretty much a non-factor at this point, and Draymond up to his shenanigans. So, like you mentioned, I mean, Steph's averaging 30 points a game. So it's not because the Warriors are in the position they're in, it's simply because of Steph's dominance and greatness. But like I said, I'm going to go with KD here. He's averaging 29 points a game. He's averaging 7 rebounds, 5 assists to go along with it. And also, he's averaging about a block and a half a game, which is, I believe, his second highest career average at this point. So he's playing pretty well across the board. Not only that, he's shooting 52.5% from the field, which is his second highest in his career. And that he's shooting 43% behind the 3-point line, which is his best percentage in his career at this point. And the Nets obviously have a 3-headed monster with Durant, Harden, and Kyrie at this point. But KD is a major factor for the fact that the Nets are essentially tied with the 76ers for the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference at this point. I believe they're only a half of a game back at this point. So KD's been a major factor with that, even with the fact that he's dealt with COVID multiple times this season, and he has shown no slowdown whatsoever from that Achilles tear that he had a few years back. And to me, he's my pick for comeback player of the year.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously a comparison between an Achilles tear and then a handbrake is just absolutely incredible. I mean, it's very significant. So to compare that to Steph's small fracture or his small break, it does make sense. So I mean, you kind of have me teetering now. Obviously, I would like to put my dog Steph up there, but I mean, an Achilles versus a hand is kind of a clear cut and concise argument for me when it comes to if you had to vote today.